Professionals, forgive the delay, but we are live with another episode of the Modern Lending Podcast, Season 5, Modern Tactics. What we are talking about in Season 5, if you are just tuning in, we are talking about what is going on in this crazy market and how our amazing originators evolving their business to thrive and survive. Every down cycle, I don't care how many you've been through, every down cycle is a pivot opportunity. It is a forced evolution. You have no choice but to take on the market as it is, change your business, evolve or die. We're in it today. So today I'm being joined by Pat Cannone. Pat is an amazing originator. He's in Northbrook, Illinois. He's been originating for a long ass time. He has radio shows. He does a ton in digital and also local. And we're going to unpack what he's doing now to win, what the challenges have been as he's kind of evolved into this market, and what you can do in your business to thrive. Let's rock and roll. Thank you, dude. Good to see you, man. How are you doing?
Alec, great to see you, buddy.
So I for everyone that's tuning in live, I apologize. I apologize to Pat. I got stuck in a meeting, and it's shame on me for booking a podcast directly after a meeting because then I'm running from building to building. But thank you, man, for joining today. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you.
I'm so excited to be here as well, Alec. Thanks for having me.
So Pat, let's dive in, man. How long you been lending?
I've been in the lending industry just over 20 years and just over 35 years in financial services altogether.
So for those listeners, that's what we call a veteran. And so this guy's seen some cycles, seen some things.
A few things.
Can we just start at the beginning, though, real quick? Like, how did you get sucked into the lending industry? Like, what happened?
Sure. Just over 20 years ago, I had been managing an office for a mutual fund company, and the market was shifting on the investment side of the business. And I wanted to, rather than manage an office of salespeople, I wanted to do my own thing. And I knew of a few realtors, and they said, you know what, man, you'd be great as a lender. So through some discussions with some realtor friends of mine, here I am. And the rest is history, as they say.
Well, then, so let's get the real question then. Having so much experience in this crazy industry, and I know some loan officers are feeling this right now, what is making you stay? What has made you stay in this crazy industry?
So what's making me stay is I love what I do. I come from an immigrant family who came here to achieve the American dream, and every individual that I come in contact with, I feel that I'm there to help them achieve their own version of the American dream. So I thrive on that. I get a buzz every time the keys cross the table because I try to attend as many closings as I can, and especially with those first-time home buyers and being there for them, and just the sheer joy that they have and getting their own piece of the American dream.
See, Pat, every time I talk to great originators, you know, the core of what we do matters so much. You know, I know that some of us thrive in problem solving, and we saying that way because they come at us every 5 seconds. I know a lot of us thrive in a lot of different areas in this lending space, but the core value of like, I'm here to provide the American dream, you know, it just matters, man. I love hearing. So, since this season is on tactics, and I designed this, you know, with the intent of helping loan officers out there get ideas, get strategies, get excited. Let's start with kind of what I would call old school, pre-COVID, things that helped kind of carve your career out of stone. You know, what were the activities that you did then that you're doing now? What are the tried and true kind of pillars of your origination business?
So the pillars of my origination business are staying on point with my realtor partners and those individual realtors that I wish to partner with. And what I mean by that is not only contacting them, but also trying to establish a face-to-face appointment on a regular basis, sitting down, finding out about them and what their business and what they're doing. And I've tried to maintain that level of activity throughout my career, and that's served to be quite successful throughout the years.
So let's unpack realtors for a second, because I mean, every great originator has realtors as a core component of their strategy. And so I'm in. But let's get more tactical. Like, how did you get realtors in the beginning? Like, how did no one just becomes a lender and everyone's like, well, here's 10 realtors. Good luck.
So basically, any transaction that I did, I always focused not only on the buyer's agent, but also on the listing agent.
Yeah, it's
and
overlooked.
Tried to, during the whole process, communicate with both sides of the table, so to speak. And basically, as we were going through the transaction, knock on wood, most of my transactions are very positive. I engaged the listing agent throughout the process and said, hey, if you like the way we've conducted ourselves throughout this process, let's go out for a cup of coffee, grab a bite to eat, and let me share with you the tools that I have at my disposal that'll help you and your buyers down the road as well. So that was one of the initial tactics that I provided. In addition, I like talking. As you mentioned, I'm on a radio show, and I've always had opportunities with various real estate offices to doing lunch and learns. So that's the old school, getting in front of as many people as possible and doing lunch and learns.
So hold on. So let's go back to listing agents for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's an under-leveraged strategy. It's crucially important. And so what would you say to them? What would your conversations be like? Do you have any scripts? Like, how would you leverage them?
Sure. Yeah. So, hey, Susie, this is Pat Cannone, Loan Depot. I am the loan officer for the buyer of your listing. Very simple. And what I'd like to do is have a conversation with you to share with you some of the tactics that I use in getting the transaction to the closing table. I mean, very simple, because many of us have the very same tools available. It's just a matter of clicking personality-wise, because Alec, as you well know, we're all in a relationship business, and the whole idea is developing that relationship with that individual. And people do business with people that they know, trust throughout the transaction, and if they know that you've been communicating with them throughout the whole transaction, and they're not even my client at this point, attest that that's what we're going to do for their buyers down the road as well. So I try to engage, and with the tools that we have available here at Loan Depot, especially, we have that opportunity to stay on point. So prior to my career here at Loan Depot, I tried to engage the listing agents throughout the whole process so that they knew I was a partner in this transaction with them as well.
It's so understated, Pat. I mean, so many loan officers don't take advantage of this whole thing with listing agents. And so thank you for sharing the script. It's so crucially important for anyone out there to have an actual strategy on how you follow up, what you say, how you set appointments, and that you just do it consistently every time. But let's talk lunch and learns, because I think they're back, and I love in-person lunch and learns, connection opportunity, all that stuff is amazing. But people get stuck on, how do I do one? What if no one comes? How do I invite a realtor? What do I say? What's your process?
Sure. So, but basically, I take a look at any of the realtors that I've done business with in the past, the listing agents, and so I put together various talks. I mean, it could be on renovation financing, since we do renovation loans here, or FHA is not a bad loan. Let's educate the consumer out there and sellers out there that FHA is a great product that can avail themselves to even more buyers for their properties. Or, I've done special presentations on first-time home buyers. I've also done, in this new world, presentations to agents on how they can utilize social media themselves and bringing their business to the next level, because social media is a tool that we all need to embrace and utilize in today's new world. Some of the old tactics always work, but we have to keep pace with what's out there today. And with people scrolling on these devices all day, we need to be where our consumers are and where our realtors are. So those are some of the presentations that I've done.
I'm going to talk about social media, so we're going to get there, because I agree. How did you stumble into this radio show? Let's talk about that for a few minutes.
Sure.
I find it fascinating.
Yeah, about 3.5 years ago, one of my business connections on LinkedIn had given my name to the radio host of this radio station, AM 560 Real Estate Revealed program. And they I guess they put out an all call that they were looking for a loan officer.
Yes.
So this individual gave out my name, said, I know Pat, he'd do great on the show. So I made contact with him. I was actually visiting my son in DC at the time. Yeah. And I said, sure, I'll come and, listen and hear you out. And the rest is history. I mean, as a kid growing up in the Chicagoland area, I grew up with, this was the old call letters WIND, old rock and roll station. So it was, to me, it was very cool. It is very cool to have that opportunity as a bullhorn to expose myself to even more individuals out there.
And I just have to ask, did you ever feel uncomfortable? Was it awkward? It feels like a lot of pressure to get on a radio show.
To be quite honest, yes. Initially, it is quite awkward, especially when it's live and you're streaming across all across America, actually, right now because of the internet. And so it was quite daunting at first, but as with anything, and what you've shared with me, Alec, because Alec and I have worked together now for the better part of a year as well on some tactics. The more you do something, the more you place yourself out into something that's uncomfortable, the better you'll get and the more comfortable you get. As you've pointed out, when you're out there working out, it's going to be tough at first. Your muscles are going to hurt, but the more you utilize those muscles, and the more comfortable you're going to be, and the better you're going to be longer term. And I've found, and I've spoken to others who've witnessed my progression and said, "Hey, man, you've really progressed from where you were 3 years ago to where you are today."
Pat, that's such a great testament of just putting in the reps and getting better. I love hearing that. I love that you're getting the feedback. Do you get much business from there, or is it brand recognition, or what's your benefit?
Yeah, so it's a combination of both. I get brand recognition, but in addition, I have gotten individuals that have reached out to me directly, and also, I've utilized my Google page as well. So whenever folks, whenever I do the broadcast, I always bring up where they can find me and so on. And so all three, it's been building up my brand as well as through some of the other sources that they've come to me.
So before we get to social, Pat, what do you do with past customers? It's always, and let me frame this up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Past customers are obviously thought of as a gold mine. They're thought of as, a referral bank. But in my history in this business and talking to lots of loan officers and being a loan officer for a long, long time, they are under leveraged. Sometimes they're ignored. They're left in the dust. What's been your strategy with them? What have you found useful and working?
What I find that's been quite useful is going back old school. And what I mean by that is regular monthly mailings or every other month.
Nice.
So a simple postcard, thanking them for their past patronage, their past business. This past spring, I sent out seeds to all of my customers, spring flowering seeds.
Yes, I love that.
Out gum. I've sent out umbrellas to some of my customers. So just trying to be and stay front of mind. So I utilize that as an opportunity to say, hey, I'm here when you're ready. Let's reconnect. Also, beyond that, I have a strategy to try to contact all of my buyers on a regular basis. So I have them on a revolving schedule where I'll try to touch base with them at least twice a year with a phone call. And, mind you, many individuals don't answer the phone these days, but at the very least, they've heard from me. I tell them, if they know of anyone, reach back out to me, and, we go from there. But I think old school and people that are missing the boat, not many people get personalized information anymore in the mail. So we try to do it on a personalized basis. Also sending out thank you cards and things of that nature needs to be part of the whole well-rounded plan for an individual today.
Let's stay on this topic for a few seconds because I think it's so important. You made a really succinct comment that people are going to miss, which is personalized physical mailers that show up at their house are just undervalued and by loan officers and missed. And I 100% agree. The fact that we can send something to somebody that we have a relationship with, that we did a loan for, that you took care of, and that they can get it. I learned this from Steve Sims back in the day. He said, grab an envelope, and I don't have one near me, but he picked an envelope up. And he said, I want you to open it with one hand. And you can't.
No.
Like, you can't open it with one hand. You have to bite it,
Yeah.
And so his whole point was, when somebody gets something in the mail from you, it's a two-handed, full attention moment. They can't be holding their phone. They're not looking at a screen. They're not checking 17 emails. They have a physical thing they're touching in front of them that they have to give their full attention to open. And, that triggered a little aha moment in me. And it's something that you just showcased. Spending a little bit of time and a little bit of money sending something thoughtful, intentional, and personal, even if it's simple as a piece of bubble gum or seeds to plant. Do people call you? Do they respond to this?
They sure do. Yeah.
Tell me about some. What do you remember? What's some experiences?
Some have chuckled. Hey, thanks for the seeds. We'll make sure to plant them. I had a little fun saying in there. The bubble gum. I sent out lemonade during the summer to cool.
Yes.
When they're having this cool lemonade, think of me. Just silly things. I've tried not to be overly serious all the time, and doing fun things like this, it just, triggers people's memories, about the whole process of when we were working together. Because when you're working together with a buyer, sometimes it's a 3 to 6 month process from the time you initially make contact with that individual, and you're on top of that individual on so regularly that they've established a relationship with you. And what you want to do with this methodology is allows them to stay front of mind again with you.
It's so good. And it's so simple. But it's such a great reminder of you have this opportunity. What are you going to do with it? You're going to send them a drip email, or are you going to send them something that matters and take a few minutes of time and stay top of mind?
And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. One of my colleagues sends out he calls it a Superman letter. He just puts together a little letter that, engages the customer as far as, some of his successes and so on, whether it's in his personal life or business life, and just sends that out there. He just puts himself out there on a regular basis.
So let's talk social media for a little bit.
Sure.
Obviously, just like me, Pat, we originated and existed in a world pre-social. We were out there driving around with, Blackberries and trying to figure out how life worked. So for all you young kids, it was hard. We didn't know what was going on. But what has been your social strategy? How has it evolved? What do you see your space as there? What have been your results? Let's unpack this for a minute.
Sure. So I, much like everyone else, I just started with a Facebook account, graduated to LinkedIn, and would just post on occasion. Wasn't getting any true engagement. About 14, 15 months ago, I put together, through actually your assistance, Alec, various video content and various campaigns. Yeah. And one of the things that you taught me and you taught us during that class was in batching together our various campaigns. And you did so in a fashion where you gave us an assignment to put together 63 videos over a 1 week period.
Yep.
And that was the best thing that you ever did for me. Oh, and what I mean by that is you took me out of my comfort zone element where I'm a planner. I've got to have everything planned out. And what that did for me was allowed me to think even more so off the cuff and put together these videos in rapid fire fashion. And it allowed me to have so much content so that when I put out the campaigns, now I had something going out regularly every 3 days.
Yes.
And we had campaigns with a purpose. And with a purpose, what I mean with that was not only were we trying to, or I was trying to educate the consumer, whether it was VA, FHA, renovation financing, refis, or whatever it was, but we were also having a call to action with each of these pieces of content. Beyond that, that gave me the courage to finally put together a podcast, which is called Lend Me Your Ear.
Yes.
And what I'm doing with the podcast is getting either industry professionals or other individuals that I think are of interest to our overall community.
Yes.
So with this, and then throughout this process of being so active on social media, we've learned that vertical videos are the way to go. So now I'm putting together vertical video contents and taking together some of this long form videos that we're putting out and cutting them up so that we have even more content that's going out to the general public. And the confirmation that what you're doing is making some impact is that I went to a wedding not too long ago, and these were friends of friends of friends. They came up to me and they said, Pat, I see you everywhere.
Nah,
And
that's the goal, baby.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
Well, so let's unpack this some more. So
sure.
You started making video. You started. When did your podcast officially start?
My podcast officially started this past October.
October. Okay,
yeah.
So it's a good chunk of time now.
Yeah.
And what was the initial? What was your personal initial like hurdles with any of this stuff that you had to overcome? Because I know some people out there, and this is why I'm asking this question.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of people who see that they need to do something on social. Something. They got to do something. Yeah. I got to do something. And then, you start, well, what is it? And then you're like, well, it's probably video. And it starts turning, and it gets all these things. What you have to deal with? What'd you get through to get into the space right
now? Just getting over myself and being self-conscious.
That's a good point.
It's, many of us have that, they don't like the way they look, don't like the way you sound. I got over that. I mean, it's like, I'm not going to please everyone. This is who I am. And once I got comfortable with myself, I was comfortable in putting it out there. And I try to put my guests at ease, especially if it's a realtor partner who don't do what I've been doing on a regular basis, and tell them, hey, all we're doing is we're friends here. We're having a conversation. It's just you and I having a conversation that we are just going to broadcast out there. So it's you and I having a conversation. Don't think and overthink things. And, once I got over that, it became much, much easier. And it's fun. I get a rush out of doing it. It's fun. I've got a new project that I'm working on with several of my realtor partners. I'm calling it Agent Spotlight, where we're going to each individual neighborhoods, because the Chicagoland area, which I market to, is so diverse. Every single neighborhood, every single town has its own unique demographic, its own unique style of doing business.
100%.
And so I've done one with one of my agents in St. Charles, Illinois. Yesterday, I just put together, which we're broadcasting tomorrow in North Aurora. And I've got these scheduled over the next several weeks to promote these various areas, but also help promote the agent who I'm keying in on and helping them develop their business as well.
So I love this concept, and I want to go spend a few minutes on it. This is so great. And any loan officer can do this that has some,
Absolutely.
So you decided to call this the Agent Spotlight. You're grabbing an agent.
Right.
And then you're going to go into a community and spotlight different aspects of it. And did I get that right?
Different aspects of the community, as well as what's happening in the real estate market in that community right now. Okay.
And then obviously you're going to share it. I'm sure the agent's going to share it to their network. And so how'd you come up with this idea?
I was looking on social and seeing what other people were doing. And I thought,
yes. Okay. I didn't know you were going to say that, Pat, but I loved
Steal Like an Artist.
It's such a great moment for anybody listening. Just pay attention. Like, you don't have to come up with genius ideas. What Pat's doing is a genius idea. Okay. And we're going to go deeper on it, but just like hit the high notes. Like, he gets to spend time with an agent. He gets to go highlight some properties. He's obviously seen as the mortgage expert. The agent's going to share it with their community, which is going to be more access to exposure for Pat. It's a genius idea. And you saw somebody else doing something similar. That's so great. How do you pick the agents?
Smile and dial, basically agents that I know. And I just give them a call, ask how they're doing, tell them this is what I'm doing with some of my other friends. I was just wondering if you'd like to have a conversation and see if this is something that you'd like to do as well. It's very non-threatening. I honestly, and I know somebody's going to say no at some point. No one has said no yet.
And these aren't agents that work with you today. They're just agents in the market.
Some are agents that don't work with me currently, and some agents that have worked with me. But it's a combination of both.
So I'm just going to ask a rhetorical question to the audience. Would you like to go spend time with a new agent and market with them and collaborate with them and start building a relationship with them for free?
Yeah.
Like, hello.
Cost anything.
It's Pat, it's amazing. Like it's such a simple idea and I love it so much. And so I'm just highlighting it because it's gold. And have you filmed any yet, you said?
Yeah, we've filmed 3 so far, and I've got another one scheduled a week from Saturday. Because I like to do them at least initially side by side, where I bring my equipment with me, have camera and light, and
Yeah.
I go to their offices, or just make sure that we have a good connection, and then we go on live side by side. For those folks that we can't arrange that face to face, I use StreamYard like we're doing today.
Yeah, but just gold. So in the few that you've done already, what's been the result? Like what's happened? You've posted it, they posted it. Just fill us in.
Yeah. So, there have been highlighting that agent, it's getting a lot of engagement through their social media contacts. And so we're getting positive feedback. One of my agents that posted yesterday, oh man, you looked you look fantastic. So it's validating what the agent is doing, and and hopefully cementing in folks' mind that contact this agent when it's time to buy or sell.
It's great.
So, and that's what I say. I mean, and that is honestly my goal, to promote them. I tell them this 20 minutes or however long we spend is your time. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, but I want it to be your time.
Yeah, absolute gold. All right, let me go back a little bit. I got too excited on that topic. That's just so good, Pat. Like it costs you nothing but time and intention.
Yeah.
And it's so much easier than a cold call of like, can I take you to lunch and tell you how great Loan Depot is? Which, it's like, okay, maybe. It's fantastic. And I guarantee their existing lending partner isn't doing that. So well done, dude. Let's go back to the results of your experience with social and posting, the frequency you've been posting and all this stuff. You mentioned that you've gotten feedback that people are like, you're ubiquitous, Pat, I see you everywhere. Yeah. Let's go a little deeper on the results. Like what have been some either, what else has happened?
So, I have gotten business out of it. Individuals have direct messaged me and said, hey, Pat, I'm thinking of, when rates were lower, I'm thinking of refinancing. And so I've gotten engagement that way. I've also had referrals from that, and also some new realtor relationships through that. Because, one of the things that I was doing beyond posting the videos was also strengthening my intent of developing and trying to develop relationships further by being more active and responding to folks and being more engaging and posting on individuals' social media sites as well. So it's not only about the content that you're producing, but you have to be out there genuinely wanting to be this individual's friend. I mean, if it's called social media, you have to be social. And being in the background and just simply liking or something is not engagement. True engagement is saying, hey, Alec, that's fantastic that your son won the the soccer tournament. Kudos to your boy, or whatever it is. It's just being genuine about it. Not because people will see through if you're not genuine. So being the person you want others to be for you, basically.
So Pat, I got to highlight this because I just made a video on this topic and posted it because we are all guilty of this. And this is a great comment for everyone to hear about Pat. So posting your own content is hugely important. Having your voice in the social media ecosystem is hugely important. And you hear Pat's comment, like it has provided rocket fuel, it's increased connections, it's helped his brand, it's helped give him deals. But the power of social is the two-way street that Pat just said. And, I love that you recognize it, Pat, the ability to comment on other people's stuff, the ability, first of all, the fact that you have the freedom and the access to do that is unbelievable. Like that human beings today, any of us can go onto social, find our past customer, find a realtor, and just say hi when they could be in wherever they're at in their life, thousands of miles away, whatever it is. And it's like open access is unbelievable. So how has this changed your business or added to it, the social stuff?
It's added to it. It's given me even more confidence about staying relevant in today's society. Knowing that this is the means where most consumers right now get their information and put together their strategy for what they're going to do next. And sometimes the path of least resistance for folks is based on what they see in social media. So a friend of a friend recommends me, they see me. People today will look you up on Google or on social media. And if they find the content out there, I find that it's basically, it's a tool that helps in cementing that relationship in today's world. You don't want to be in the background. You have to be in the foreground. You have to be out there, and putting yourself out there is key. And and getting out of your comfort zone. So anybody who's come to me and saying, what can I do? It's a matter of just getting out of your comfort zone, because you may not see the results immediately.
Yeah.
Especially in the market that we're in.
Oh yeah.
But I do know that as I continue to do this, when the market pivots, it's going to pay off in droves.
Yes.
Based on, what I'm already seeing.
Pat, I say this a lot, and you just articulated it well. This is a seed planting market.
Yeah.
Seed planting market. And I know that for us instant gratification whores, that bothers us, because we're like, well, I'm not getting the result. And it's the same with what listen to what Pat said about social and all this stuff and video. It's not, you don't go viral. I mean, maybe someone does, but the game is connection. The game is brand building. It's foundation building. It's brick by brick. So Pat, as we kind of, look to the tail end of this podcast here, I have a few questions though that I want you to hit on.
Sure.
Did you have any breakthrough moments in your career that stand out to you when something clicked or something happened that really helped, launch into a new phase of your career that you can recall?
Yeah. Breakthrough moment I had was back in 2014.
Okay.
I attended a conference for a mortgage marketing group out there. I won't name names, but that was my aha moment, where it was basically having a daily success plan. So in other words, I know what I'm going to do on a daily basis, who I'm going to contact.
Yep.
And, making sure that I contact realtor partners that I want to work with, those that I'm already working with, contacting customers on a regular basis, making sure my thank you cards are put together, making sure that I wish my customers a happy birthday, being one of the first to do so, something very simple as that. Having a daily routine for myself. In order to be at my best, I have to stay healthy, which means exercising and meditating and things like that. So that aha moment in 2014, it was December of 2014, market was off that year a little bit. And I went down to Tampa, and it propelled my business to different heights. And, the irony of all of this, as we all know, Alec, any of us that have been in the business for any length of time, it ain't rocket science. It isn't anything that was brand new. It was just the way it was presented. And maybe that was what the moment that I needed to hear all of this, that, you can start from this point and just do things methodically on a daily basis, time block, and do things like that. And that was the moment for me.
I love that. And before I get to my final questions, I just want to spend a minute on it, because, I think many of us have had with these unlocks in our moments of, when the world unlocks for us, because to your comment, Pat, it wasn't anything you hadn't heard before.
No.
It just for some reason you were ready to accept it and to change a behavior or to unleash some component of yourself. And it's really cool when that happens. Well, let's spend a few minutes here, Pat. This is a hard year. Last year was a hard year. A lot of people are hoping that a white knight rides in and saves us, which, I think all of us would take, but we just can't sit around being like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're going to have this boom. It's going to save our ass. We got to pick ourselves up a little bit. What would be your advice to originators facing this market? You've had plenty of your career now to navigate down cycles, to understand what's happening. What's some advice you have for originators staring down the barrel of 2023 going, is this going to get better?
Okay. Well, I mean, while no one has that crystal ball, we all know that at some point it will get better. So what I encourage anyone, and, myself included, is to stay as positive as possible. When talking to a client, when talking to a realtor partner, to whomever you're talking to stay positive. They're looking for you for guidance. And if you are dour and down, that's going to come across. So engagement with any of my pre-approved borrowers right now, just encourage them that their time is going to come, to stay on top and make sure that they know that they've got somebody on their side throughout the whole process. As far as my realtor partners and individuals that I'm trying to partner with, it's the same, realizing that in order to stay positive, you just have a daily routine. Do the things that other people aren't doing. So for realtor partners, it may be door knocking like they used to do. For loan officers like myself, it may be going out on open houses. I mean, it had been years since I had done open houses. And during COVID, I started doing open houses again and going and engaging with the public. And almost invariably, I've developed and gotten business from those activities. So a long-winded answer to your question, it is about staying positive. It's putting together a positive mindset and knowing that this too shall pass. We're going to get through this. As you've mentioned, I've gone through a few of these ups and downs, and we know that what goes down will come back up again.
That's right. By the way, Jordan's hanging out with us too, so good to see you.
Yes.
Yep, love the content.
Jordan.
Pat, what advice do you have for somebody that is going to get serious about content and start playing in social?
Okay, don't overthink it. One of the first things to do is to put together some ideas. So if you're a realtor, it could be just simply going through a house and showcasing the house with a Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. For myself as a lender or any lender out there, it's just simply putting together a campaign strategy, mm-hmm. 10 videos on how FHA financing can help you, and put these no more than a minute or so. You don't want too much content on these short videos, and put them out on a 3-week basis. 3-week basis. Beyond that, establish a criteria and put it out to your community. Hey, Facebook friends, LinkedIn friends, I'm trying to help 12 new buyers finance their next home with FHA or conventional financing. Can you help me accomplish that particular goal by sharing these videos with people that you know out there?
Yep.
Simple as that. So I think it's just getting out of your comfort zone, putting together some videos, simply engaging with folks on social media, not just simply liking, but actually engaging with folks out there. And you're going to find, maybe not initially, but in time, it's going to pay off.
Dude, Pat, it's so true. It's great advice, dude. Any final words for originators out there? Again, my whole series is on tactics and strategies that you would give anybody. You got positivity, you got, don't overthink the social, what else do you got for everybody?
For everyone, again, going back old school, time block a couple hours a day or 3 days a week, where all you're going to do, get away from all devices. You're going to get back on the phone and start contacting people on a regular basis. Simple as that. You say you don't have time to engage with social media. I'm an early bird. I get up at 5 a.m, but let's say it's 7 to 7:30. Do your engagement 7 to 7:30 in the morning before everybody else gets up. It's just being out there, being intentional, doing it on a regular basis. I mean, it literally is not rocket science. I know I've used that term over and over again, but it's just put together a plan. I have something right here. I just put something together on a regular basis.
Great.
And just do it. It's that easy. And, and stay positive. Basically, it's not going to always be like this.
Pat, what I love about your comment, and I'm gonna share this more frequently because, and I love that we're ending with this kind of comment because it's just such a groundbreaking thing. When I asked you, stay positive, blah blah, last piece of content, and you go, make contact with people. Mm-hmm. That's it. It's that we don't need to overcomplicate our business, my friends. Call, and notice Pat didn't say make a video. And we're both like, this guy's very on social. I'm on social all the time. And I agree with Pat's comment. Like, I will echo this. The first thing is like, how do I get more business? And he's like, well, don't make a video. You can do that too, but pick up the phone and call a human being.
Yeah.
That's probably the best advice anybody could make looking down the barrel of 2023 and what they're going to do this year. You want to change your life, pick up the phone and make human contact. Pat, thank you for just downloading today. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, dude. I love what you do on social. I love the positivity you bring. And I think that's a great piece of feedback you delivered to everybody. Will stay positive because you can see it in your attitude, in your content. And, I'm obsessed with this, take a realtor out and showcase the agent spotlight thing. I think that that's a gold mine. So thank you, dude, for spending time with us today.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun, Alec.
All right, everybody, all the listeners out there, we'll see you next time on the Model Lending Podcast. And until then, we'll see you on the internet. Take care.
Take care.